Have you ever wondered what happens when two ancient Greek gods clash over the mastery of nature itself? Imagine waves as tall as mountains crashing against the shores of Greece, while a goddess stands resolute against their fury. This is the tale of how Athena, goddess of wisdom and strategic warfare, proved her divine might against Poseidon, the temperamental ruler of the seas. In the golden age of ancient Greece, when gods walked freely among mortals, the realms of divine power were clearly defined. Poseidon commanded the vast oceans, his trident stirring up storms that could shatter coastlines. Athena, born from Zeus's head, fully grown and armed, governed wisdom, strategic warfare, and the practical arts of civilization. Yet sometimes, even the most established boundaries between divine powers were tested. The conflict began when sailors and coastal dwellers increasingly turned to Athena for protection during their maritime ventures. They had grown weary of Poseidon's unpredictable nature, his tendency to wreck ships on a whim, and his storms that devoured entire fleets. These mortals recognized that Athena's gift of wisdom might offer a safer passage across the treacherous seas than Poseidon's volatile favors. Poseidon, his pride wounded by this shift in mortal allegiance, unleashed his fury upon the Mediterranean. Waves rose like liquid mountains, storms darkened skies that had never known such darkness, and the seas churned with unprecedented violence. His message was clear. No other deity, not even Zeus's favorite daughter, could challenge his dominion over the waters. Athena watched from Mount Olympus as coastal cities suffered and trade routes became impassable. Unlike her impulsive uncle, she understood that true power lay not in destruction, but in mastery and control. She knew she must act, not just to protect her mortal followers, but to demonstrate that wisdom could tame even the wildest forces of nature. One stormy morning, Athena descended to Cape Sounion, where one of her most sacred temples stood overlooking Poseidon's domain. The sea god had whipped the waters into a frenzy, creating waves that threatened to devour the very cliffs upon which her temple was built. As lightning split the sky and thunder shook the earth, Athena raised her spear. Instead of meeting force with force, Athena employed her legendary strategic mind. She began by understanding the patterns within Poseidon's chaos, the rhythms hidden in the storm's rage. With each wave that crashed against the cliffs, she learned more about the nature of the sea itself. This was not just a battle of power, but a lesson in the superiority of wisdom over raw strength. Drawing upon her divine knowledge, Athena started to impose order upon chaos. She moved her spear in precise patterns, each gesture calculated to affect the water's movement. Gradually, the massive waves began to respond to her influence. Where Poseidon created turbulence, Athena introduced harmony. The water's surface, which had been a violent maelstrom moments before, slowly transformed into organized patterns. Poseidon, sensing the change in his domain, emerged from the depths in a chariot pulled by magnificent hippocampi. His expression betrayed both anger and disbelief as he watched Athena tame his wild seas. He raised his trident, attempting to reassert his dominion, but found that Athena's calculated influence could not be easily undone. The goddess demonstrated that true mastery comes not from the ability to create chaos, but from the wisdom to understand and guide natural forces. Under her influence, the waves began to dance in rhythmic patterns, creating a display of both power and beauty. Ships that had been tossing helplessly in the storm found themselves guided safely to harbor by these newly organized currents. This display of divine wisdom over brute force drew the attention of the other Olympians. Zeus himself appeared in the storm clouds above, observing the contest between his daughter and his brother. Even he had not expected Athena to demonstrate such masterful control over another god's domain. Poseidon, though his pride was wounded, could not deny the elegance of Athena's solution. She had not sought to strip him of his power over the seas, but had instead shown how wisdom could work in harmony with natural forces. This lesson resonated deeply with the ancient Greeks, who saw in it a reflection of their own struggles to build civilization in harmony with nature's power. The aftermath of this divine demonstration changed how mortals viewed their relationship with the sea. They learned that respect for Poseidon's power, combined with Athena's wisdom, offered the best protection during maritime ventures. Sailors began to pray to both deities, seeking Poseidon's favor for calm waters, while asking Athena for the wisdom to navigate them safely. This story, passed down through generations, teaches us that true power lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the wisdom to understand and guide. It reminds us that even the most turbulent forces in our lives can be mastered through knowledge, strategy, and patient understanding. Just as Athena proved that wisdom could calm the mightiest waves, we too can face our challenges not with brute force, but with thoughtful determination and strategic thinking. The temples at Cape Sounion still stand today, monuments to both Athena and Poseidon, reminding visitors of this ancient lesson in the triumph of wisdom over chaos. In their weathered columns, we can still feel the echo of that divine contest, where a goddess of wisdom proved that understanding nature's power is greater than merely wielding it.